Good morning, everybody. Um, so I just wanted to come on here and say that my Russian Revolution class is going okay. So, but that's not really why I wanted to come on here. So, I um, have really been interested in a lot of, as you know, if you've seen one of my recent videos, I've just been really interested in old Hollywood and especially horror actors of that time. So I've just finished recently reading an autobiography on Colin Clive and the autobiography on Boris Karloff. And I have a book about James Pierce that I got. He helped a lot of Universal Studios, the makeup for Universal Studios. So he worked with Lon Chaney Jr. and he worked with Boris Karloff. Um, so I have something on him from Amazon. So I'm I'm gonna read that. Feel like I'm going to probably obviously I'm gonna get something on Bela Lugosi. I don't know which books to get yet. Um, I also so what I came on here to say was that the reason why I feel like I have let me say the whole thing. So I recently if you know, I am a history major doing my master's, and so I'm thinking that my final project, my thesis, is going to be like I was when I first started, I was leaning towards Hollywood, and now old Hollywood, and now I think I'm leaning more and more towards horror because I've always been interested in like the old Hollywood, modern kind of like up until because the Adams Family, because I kind of want to check those out too. Um, like sci-fi is part of the horror genre. It emerged from the horror genre, so and then woman in horror. That's probably what I'm gonna do. I haven't really organized my thoughts yet. I'm trying to organize my thoughts. And if you notice that I've also called these actors like the founding fathers of horror, and I went on Facebook. I'm a fan of. I'm part of a history majors group where we just basically discuss history. Basically, we're all history majors, bachelor's through PhD, doctoral program, and we just basically talk about history and research and like stuff like that. It's I wish I found it sooner because like I wish I had people who I could talk to about history. But I just never knew where to find them. Um, and then and then my therapist just said, you know what, maybe you should probably start branching out and talking to people. I'm like, talking to people, that's a little too far. But then I was just like, hey, you know what? Maybe there are groups on Facebook that can cater to what I want to talk about. So I don't know why I never thought of that. And I'm also part of a Svengoolie fan group. Um, if you don't know what Svengoolie is, it's on MeTV. It comes on Saturday at 8 o'clock. Um, well, Massachusetts Eastern time. Um, it's has old horror movies on it, and I really like it. So I basically put a question on both of the pages about I have about who I chose as the founding fathers of horror. Um, Now that I think about it, it wasn't. that generalized. I mean, it wasn't that specific, but it was more because I got a few different responses. Because I was looking for actors, but every people gave me a lot of other stuff too. Gave me writers. They gave me people from the studio, but I'm I'm looking at specific was looking at a specific portion of my essay that I want to write, and they weren't in my head. So I said I basically said I want to do my capstone for the founding fathers of horror. So I'm thinking more and more that should be part of my essay instead of my paper, instead of the whole thing, because that's a lot to talk about. So I said the people that I have, the actors that I have, are Colin Clive, Boris Karloff, Bela Lugosi, and Lon Chaney Jr. So here I want to tell you the reasons why, because a lot of people didn't really understand why I had Colin Clive on my list. Because I asked also for their opinion, and I saw a lot of people say Lon Chaney Sr. And I'll get to that why I didn't put Lon Chaney Sr. in my opinion. But well, I'll just get to it. So the reason why I have Colin Clive in there is because Frankenstein. I know that's basically, he's not known in the horror genre, but like I don't. The thing is, I don't think a lot of people who are in horror are familiar with his legacy. I think they only know him from Frankenstein, and it's just like, you're only in Frankenstein. Why should we really? But like Colin Clive, he was the person who put the Mad Doctor on the radar. I mean, he brought it to life with those famous words. It's a double entendre, because he brought the Mad Doctor to life and he brought the monster to life, saying it's alive, it's alive. So with the famous lines. So and after he said that, he said, "Now I know what it's like to feel. Now I know what it's like to feel like God." And it's just like, and they took that out when it came out in the beginning, because they were like, "Oh, that's way too blasphemous." And it's just like, there are people who are going to see a man who takes dead body parts to make another man, and you don't think that's already blasphemous? Okay, so sorry, I didn't do my hair. And so that's the huge reason why I want to use Colin Clive. And it's just, I feel like, and also reading his autobiography. If you don't know what I'm talking about, I have it in another, I think I mentioned him a few times in my, mentioned a few times about the book in previous videos. I don't have the book on me right now. So that Colin Clive, I feel like he, just because he did a lot of dramatic acting doesn't mean that he should be ruled out. Because, like everyone always says in theater, there are small parts, there are small actors, and Colin Clive definitely was not a small actor. And if you put him in Frankenstein, since you put him in Frankenstein, he was not a small actor. So that is why I consider him one of the founding fathers. The mad scientist is the basis for a lot of other things. Because you could even ask why, because I found out that some people even consider Claude Rains as part of horror, and I'm just like, because you could debate the same thing for Colin Clive as for Claude Rains, but I'm just saying, if there was no um Colin Clive, who did the Mad Doctor, there would be no Invisible Man, because he was a Mad Doctor too. So Boris Karloff, he was a Mad Doctor as well. Attack of the Puppet People, that was actually I saw it a few days ago, and that was a really good movie. We wouldn't have the Mad Doctor in that. Also, I feel like John Hoyt as the Mad Doctor, as Franz, who was the Mad Doctor, I like that he also made the Mad Doctor a humanized kind of Mad Doctor as well, because his wife left him, and so now he's turning all the people who he works with, who are leaving to go to another job or retiring or something, into dolls. And it's so sad, because at the end of the say, no, please don't leave me, I'll be alone. I was just like, oh no. And it's just like, he just really wants friends. He really wants friends. Not a good way how to get them, but yeah. So anyway, I digress. Sorry, I have a lot of fun going on. So that's one of the reasons why I put Colin. That's the main reason I put Colin Clive as part of my question. I mean, my response to my question, that Colin Clive is one of the founding fathers of history. I mean, of horror. I put Lon Chaney Jr. in. I think I didn't put Lon Chaney Sr. in is because I know he's the man of many faces. But I think the reason I didn't put Lon Chaney Sr. in is because I think the whole reason why I made that the whole Colin Clive, Bela Lugosi, Lon Chaney Jr. thing is because they were the four main Universal. You got Dracula, Mummy. They're all Colin Clive, Bela Lugosi, Boris Karloff, Lon Chaney Jr. They were all connected to the four main Universal monsters, and so that sparked everything. So like, I don't even know, like, if they were alive, if all of them were alive today, they would, I wonder like what they would say, because like pop culture, they're so big in pop culture references, and so many movies stem from them, so many comedies, so many cartoons stem from them. We wouldn't have had Frankenberry or Count Chocula. We wouldn't have the Count from Sesame Street if none of these people exist. If Bela Lugosi didn't bring Dracula to life, if Boris Karloff didn't bring Frankenstein to life, it's like, if we wouldn't have all of these things, and we wouldn't have the Addams Family, we definitely wouldn't have had the Munsters. So it's just that's the reason why I think I should put Lon Chaney Sr. in, but I think because I just don't know that much about Lon Chaney Sr., but obviously I'm a history major, so I can do research on him. I didn't know that before. I don't know why I didn't think of that until everyone in Facebook was saying, what about Lon Chaney Sr.? And then I was also low-key, even before this, thinking about Vincent Price too. But I think, like I said before, I think I'm just focusing on the 4 main monsters of Universal. Universal of the 4 main of Universal Studios, because that I think just those movies in general just catapulted everything. And so like now I feel like just you can see it. You can see all those things everywhere. And that's the reason why I'm limiting I was limiting my scope to those 4 actors. And yeah, that's all. So right now I'm trying to read about women in horror right now. It's not really what I expected because I'm so sorry. It's more like a, I'll show you the book later, but it's more like a well, you know what? I only read a little bit of it because I don't really have time to read. I don't really have time to read leisurely any when I'm in school. So I'll show you it later. So yeah, and I plan to just try and get more organized and like how I want my paper to come out. But leave your comments and if you want to leave your comments and about who you would consider as a founding father of horror from old Hollywood, not from the 60s or anything, because that was kind of I feel like those were kind of more sci-fi-ish kind of things. I also think that and I want right now I'm only looking at actors. I'm not really looking at because I also got responses about writers like Edgar Allan Poe and Mary Shelley, and it's just like, yeah, she's a founding mother. Obviously, he's technically a founding father, but in the sense of like writing horror, not really. I want it to be brought to life through acting. Not, I should have been specific about the domain that I wanted. And also I've been getting about like Carl Laemmle, and I'm just like junior and senior, and it's just like, but they were in the studios, so I kind of want to. I know the Laemmles need some love, but I'm kind of focusing on the actors right now. So, and even if you've never seen a horror picture from the golden age of Hollywood, I would suggest you do that, because that was when I feel like a lot of questioning about like what is good and what is bad came out of that. And it's just like looking at it, like obviously Frankenstein was a man who made another man, and Frankenstein's monster was very timid, because he was just born. He doesn't know what's good and what's bad. And it's just like the crowd, they know what's good and bad, but they're just scared of him because he looks different. And it's just like, is that being bad? And he's just like, it's like the crowd is being bad because they're just judging someone and what they look like. And he killed a girl just because he wanted to see if a girl floated. So not because he was of malintent. So it's just, it's, I feel like those kind of things, the movies back then were just very, really made you think. And that's why I'm really interested in looking at old Hollywood and stuff like that. And I think that's one of the reasons why I became a history major, because there are just so many things that we don't know about that can make you think about what's going on today. And yeah, that's all I have. This has obviously been way longer than I wanted it to be, but yeah. So, like I said, leave a comment down below if you have any suggestions for me. I could really use them. If you have any books that I could look at, because I just found out that I'm not in. I have like 2 more classes left to get into my capstone, and write my thesis. But I found out like they give you like what to expect. My advisor like told me what to expect, and it's just like I have to read like at least 10 books. I have to have at least 10 books for my sources, so it's just like so yeah. So like suggestions for books could really be helped. Right? I could really use suggestions for books right now. So that's all I have to say. Bye.